I want to start by asking you a simple question. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have everything they desire while others struggle to get what they need? It's not luck. It's not chance. It's the law of attraction. And if you listen carefully today, you will understand why your mind is the most powerful magnet in the universe. The first key point is clarity. You cannot attract what you do not clearly define. Your thoughts, your vision, your dream, they must be clear. If you cannot see it in your mind, you cannot hold it in your life. The universe does not respond to vague wishes. It responds to precise intentions. What is it that you truly want? Write it down. See it clearly and hold it like a burning flame in your heart. The second point is belief. You must believe without a shadow of doubt that what you desire is possible for you. Too many people want something but secretly believe they don't deserve it. Belief is the fuel that powers the law of attraction. If you doubt, you repel. If you believe, you attract. Your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are seeds of reality waiting to grow. The third point is alignment. Your actions must align with your vision. It is not enough to think and hope. You must live in harmony with your goals. Every decision, every habit, every choice must support the life you are attracting. The universe rewards those who take inspired action and punishes those who remain stagnant. The fourth key point is positivity. Your mind cannot attract what you dwell on negatively. When you focus on fear, scarcity, or lack, you push away abundance. When you focus on gratitude, joy, and possibility, you draw it closer. The energy you emit is the energy you receive. The law of attraction is not magic, it is science in motion. The fifth point is persistence. Thoughts alone are not enough. You must persist in the face of challenges. Many give up just before the universe is about to deliver. Your consistency in believing, visualizing, and acting is what turns desire into reality. Every great achievement in history was first imagined, then acted upon relentlessly. The sixth point is awareness. You must be aware of the opportunities, signs, and synchronicities around you. The universe is constantly sending messages, but only those who are alert will notice. When you pay attention, you start to see doors opening where there were only walls. Opportunities are never coincidences. They are confirmations that your vibration is in tune with your desire. The seventh key point is gratitude. You cannot attract more unless you appreciate what you already have. Gratitude raises your frequency, it shifts your energy, and it tells the universe that you are ready for more. Start every day with a heart of gratitude and watch how life begins to reward you in ways you never imagined. The eighth and final point is patience. Attraction does not always work on your schedule. The universe is not in a rush, and neither should you be. Trust the process, stay faithful to your vision, and know that what is meant for you will never pass you by. Patience is not passive. It is an active trust that what you have asked for is already on its way. So I want you to leave here today understanding this. The law of attraction is not about wishful thinking. It is about mastering your mind, controlling your thoughts, and aligning your energy with the life you desire. It is about becoming the person who naturally attracts what they want, simply by being in harmony with it. Remember this, your mind is your most powerful tool. Your thoughts are your most valuable assets. Your life is the reflection of what you believe, what you feel, and what you imagine. Do not underestimate the power within you. The universe is listening, it is watching, and it is responding to the energy you emit. Start today, think clearly, act intentionally, believe passionately, and persist relentlessly. The moment you begin to think like the person you want to become, act like the person who deserves your dreams, and feel gratitude as if your dreams are already here, the law of attraction will start to work in ways that will amaze you. And one day when you look back, you will realize that everything you thought was impossible became inevitable. Because the power to attract the life you desire has always been inside you. I want you to imagine for a moment that you are standing at the edge of a forest. It is dense, dark, and mysterious. You know there is a destination on the other side, a place you have always dreamed of reaching. But you have no map, no compass, and no sense of direction. Every step you take feels uncertain, and with every twist and turn, you wonder if you are even going the right way. This, my friend, is what it is like to live without clarity. Without clarity, your life becomes a wandering, a drifting, a series of random actions that may or may not take you closer to what you truly desire. Clarity begins when you dare to define exactly what you want. It is not enough to say, I want to be successful, or I want happiness. These are vague, blurry statements that the mind cannot hold. Success and happiness mean different things to different people. To attract what you want, you must see it clearly in your mind. If you cannot picture it, if you cannot describe it, you cannot pursue it. A man once told me he wanted to be rich. I asked him, how rich? He paused and shrugged. Enough to be comfortable, he said. That is not clarity. Clarity would be, I want to earn $10,000 a month, to travel freely, to provide for my family, and to give generously to those in need. That is clear. That paints a picture of the mind, and the universe can respond to. Think about your daily life. When you go to the grocery store without a list, you wander the aisles, you buy things you do not need, and you forget what you came for. But when you have a list, a precise plan of what you want, you move directly to your goal, and every action becomes intentional. Life works the same way. Clarity is your list. It is the map that guides every decision, every action, and every thought. Without it, you are at the mercy of circumstance, reacting to life rather than directing it. I once knew a young woman who dreamed of becoming a writer. She told me she wanted to publish a book, but she never set a goal, never wrote a plan, never even decided what kind of book she wanted to write. Years passed, and she was frustrated. She worked late nights in an office she did not love, wondering why her dream never came true. Then one day she took a piece of paper and wrote down her desire with clarity. She would write a 200-page self-help book in 1 year, dedicate 2 hours every morning to writing, and submit it to publishers within 6 months of finishing. Suddenly, her actions aligned with her goal. She knew exactly what to do, and every day became a step closer to her dream. Clarity transformed her dream into a tangible reality. Clarity also saves you from wasted energy. The mind is like a magnet. It attracts what it focuses on. If your focus is scattered, you attract confusion, distractions, and disappointment. If your focus is clear, you attract opportunities, resources, and people who are in alignment with your vision. It is the difference between a fisherman casting his net in random waters and a fisherman who knows exactly where the fish are. The net may catch something in the first scenario, but in the second, the catch is guaranteed. Listen to this, your clarity must be so strong that it becomes a part of who you are. It must be more than words on a page. It must be a vision that excites you, a fire that drives you out of bed each morning. I have seen people who dream of wealth but never visualize it. They dream of love but never picture it. They dream of freedom but never describe it. Their dreams remain in their imagination, never stepping into reality. But those who are clear, those who define their desires precisely, see themselves living the life they want. They speak as if it is already theirs. They act as if it is already theirs. And in doing so, they attract it. Let me give you another example. A young man wanted to run a business, but he kept saying, I'll start when the time is right. He had no clarity about what type of business, who his customers would be, or how he would fund it. Years passed, and nothing happened. Then one day he wrote down, I will start an online store selling handmade furniture, targeting young couples, with a marketing plan in place within 60 days and a funding goal of $5,000. With that clarity, he immediately began taking actions. He found suppliers, created a website, and launched his store. Clarity gave him direction, purpose, and a roadmap that had been missing. Clarity also strengthens your confidence. When you know exactly what you want, you can communicate it clearly to others. You can ask for help. You can negotiate. You can make decisions without hesitation. People are drawn to clarity because clarity is power. It is attractive. It shows that you know your mind, you know your heart, and you know your destiny. Without clarity, you wander in uncertainty, and others will not follow a vision that is foggy and undefined. Daily life is full of small examples. Consider the student who dreams of passing an exam. The one who says, I hope I do well, will stumble through study sessions. The one who says, I will score 95% by studying 3 hours daily, reviewing past papers every weekend, and testing myself weekly, moves with purpose. Clarity changes how we organize our time, how we prioritize our energy, and how we align our actions with our goals. It transforms hope into results. So ask yourself, what is it that you truly desire? What is the life you want to create? Define it clearly, write it down, visualize it, speak it, act on it. Do not settle for vague dreams or abstract wishes. Clarity is the foundation of every achievement, every breakthrough, and every extraordinary life. It is the force that turns intention into manifestation, dreams into reality, and thoughts into tangible results. Without clarity, nothing takes root. With clarity, The universe aligns itself to bring your vision into existence. I want you to imagine for a moment a young man sitting alone in his room, staring at a blank sheet of paper. He has dreams, big dreams, dreams that could change his life, dreams that could impact generations. But as he looks at the paper, he mutters quietly, "Who am I to achieve this? Who am I to deserve this?" How many of us have sat in that same place, feeling inadequate, feeling unworthy, feeling that our desires are too big for someone like us? That, my friend, is why belief is so powerful. Belief is not just thinking something is possible. Belief is knowing deep in your soul that you are worthy of all that you desire. It is the unwavering faith in yourself, the recognition that your life has value, that your dreams have merit, and that the universe is ready to respond to your faith. The first step in belief is recognizing your inherent worth. Too many people walk through life as if they are accidents, as if they are unimportant extras in someone else's story. They measure themselves by the opinions of others, by the standards of society, by the temporary applause or criticism they receive. I remember a woman who came to me frustrated. She had a brilliant idea for a business, something that could help her entire community. But she kept saying, "I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough, I'm not ready." I asked her, "How do you know you're not ready? Did anyone teach you how to be worthy of your dreams?" She paused, realizing that her doubts were not based on reality, they were based on fear. Belief begins when you decide that you are enough, just as you are, to pursue what you desire. Belief requires rejecting the lies we tell ourselves. The mind loves to create limitations. It whispers, "You cannot do this, you will fail. You are not like those people who succeed." And when we listen, we allow these lies to control our lives. I have seen young men and women with extraordinary potential shrink because they believed the stories of inadequacy that others wrote for them. One young man wanted to become an artist, but his friends told him it was impossible. He believed them, he stopped drawing. Years later, he found his old sketches in a box, and he realized the only reason he had given up was because he had not believed in his own worthiness. The moment he claimed his value, his art flowed again, and doors opened that had been invisible before. Belief transforms how we act in daily life. It is not passive. It is active. When you believe in your worthiness, you no longer wait for permission or validation. You take the first step. Consider the example of a student who dreams of attending a prestigious university. If she doubts herself, she will procrastinate, hesitate, and settle for mediocrity. If she believes she deserves to be there, she will study diligently, apply boldly, and present herself with confidence. Belief changes your energy, and your energy changes how the world responds to you. Opportunities do not just appear for those who are passive. They appear for those who know they are worthy of receiving them. Belief also requires persistence in the face of rejection. Life will test your faith, but belief is the compass that keeps you moving forward. I once spoke to a young entrepreneur who had applied for multiple loans to start his business. Each time, he was rejected. Most people would have given up, thinking they were not worthy or capable. But he held on to the belief that he deserved success. He adjusted his strategy, improved his proposal, and continued seeking opportunities. Eventually, he secured funding and built a thriving business. His unwavering faith in his worthiness became the force that refused to let the world define his limits. Daily life gives us endless examples of belief in action. Consider the athlete who trains for years to compete at the highest level. Without belief in their talent and in their right to succeed, every early morning practice, every grueling exercise, every sacrifice would feel meaningless. Belief is what turns effort into achievement. It is what allows ordinary people to perform extraordinary feats because they have convinced themselves without a doubt that they are capable, deserving, and destined for greatness. Belief also affects how we speak to ourselves. The words you use, the affirmations you repeat, the thoughts you dwell upon, they either reinforce your worthiness or erode it. When you wake up and say, "I am capable, I am deserving, I am enough," you are feeding your mind a truth it can act upon. When you say, "I will never succeed, I am not ready, I cannot do this," you are planting seeds of failure. The power of belief is in its consistency, in the repeated decision to affirm your value and refuse the lies of inadequacy. Sometimes belief requires stepping out before the path is clear. It requires courage. Imagine a young woman who dreams of speaking to thousands of people. She has never spoken publicly. Her knees shake, her heart races, but she believes in her worthiness. She steps onto the stage, voice trembling, and begins to speak. The audience responds. Her belief, not her experience, became the bridge between her dreams and reality. The universe meets belief with opportunity because belief tells the world, I am ready to receive, I am ready to shine, I am worthy of this moment. Belief is contagious. When you believe in your worthiness, others begin to see it. They are drawn to your confidence, inspired by your faith, and willing to support your journey. One young man I know wanted to start a community project, but struggled to find volunteers. He believed deeply in the impact of his vision. He spoke passionately, acted consistently, and soon people joined him, offering their time, resources, and encouragement. Belief had magnetized the support he needed because he refused to doubt his own value. So I ask you now, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see someone limited by circumstance, opinion, and fear? Or do you see someone worthy of every dream, every success, and every blessing life has to offer? Belief is not arrogance. It is recognition. It is claiming the birthright that belongs to you simply because you exist. When you nurture this belief, your life shifts. Your choices become intentional, your actions become bold, and your dreams start unfolding, because the first step to receiving anything is knowing, without a doubt, that you are deserving of it. I want you to picture a young man who dreams of becoming a successful chef. Every night he lies in bed imagining himself running his own restaurant, creating dishes that make people smile and earning respect in his community. His vision is clear, his desire is strong, yet each day he wakes up and goes to a job unrelated to cooking, spends hours watching television, and never touches a knife or studies recipes. He wonders why his dream feels so far away. This is what happens when your actions are not aligned with your vision. The universe responds not to what you wish for, but to what you consistently do. Your vision is the map, and your actions are the steps that lead you toward it. When they are out of sync, you wander in circles, frustrated and wondering why nothing changes. Alignment begins with honesty. You must look at your daily life and ask, are my actions supporting my dream, or are they sabotaging it? I once met a young woman who wanted to start a fitness brand. She envisioned inspiring thousands to live healthier lives, yet she rarely exercised herself, spent hours scrolling on social media, and neglected learning about nutrition and marketing. I asked her, how can you inspire others if you do not live what you teach? Her eyes widened because she realized her actions were contradicting her vision. The moment she started aligning her habits with her dream, exercising, learning, engaging with her audience, her vision began to take form because she had become a living example of what she wanted to attract. Daily life is full of examples of misalignment. Consider the student who dreams of passing the final exams with excellence. If she studies for 2 hours one day and spends 6 hours the next day watching shows and chatting online, her actions are misaligned with her vision. The outcome becomes unpredictable. Now imagine she structures her day intentionally, dedicating consistent, focused time to her studies. She reviews past papers, asks questions, and tests herself. Her actions now support her vision. Alignment transforms wishful thinking into tangible results. Because the universe recognizes the consistency between thought and action, alignment is also about choices. The young man who wants financial freedom but continues to spend recklessly, borrow carelessly, and avoid learning about investment is sending a conflicting message to his vision. He wants wealth but acts in a way that destroys it. The moment he begins to budget, save, invest, and educate himself about money, his actions echo his vision. This is what alignment does. It creates a resonance between desire and behavior. Without it, dreams remain distant, and life feels like a series of random events rather than a purposeful journey. I remember a conversation with a young entrepreneur who wanted to open a community center for children. He had the vision, he had the passion, but his daily actions were scattered. He spent hours worrying about what might go wrong instead of taking concrete steps. He questioned, how do I know where to start? I told him, start where your vision meets action. Align your thoughts with what you can do today. He began small, finding a space, talking to volunteers, creating a budget. Each step reinforced his vision, and soon the project grew beyond what he had imagined. Because his actions were no longer separate from his dream, alignment requires discipline. It asks you to make choices that may be uncomfortable, but necessary. The athlete who dreams of winning a championship cannot skip practice, eat poorly, or neglect conditioning. Each action must support the goal. The same applies to every field of life. If your actions contradict your vision, you send signals of doubt and inconsistency to the universe. If they are in harmony, you send signals of certainty and focus, and life begins to bend in your favor. The small, consistent steps repeated daily create momentum that cannot be ignored. Sometimes alignment asks for courage. It may require leaving a job that distracts you from your passion, distancing yourself from people who pull you away from your goals, or breaking habits that contradict your dreams. I met a young woman who wanted to become a writer. She loved her job, but it consumed every hour of her day. She feared leaving it, but she realized staying meant her vision would never be fulfilled. She aligned her actions by dedicating mornings to writing, learning publishing strategies, and connecting with other authors. Her courage to align her life with her vision allowed her words to find a path into the world. Alignment also amplifies confidence. When your actions consistently reflect your vision, you no longer question your ability or your worthiness. The young man who writes daily, studies and practices his craft becomes certain he can achieve mastery. The young woman who shows up every day to exercise, eat healthily, and build her brand becomes convinced she can inspire others. Consistency between action and vision is the bridge that transforms uncertainty into belief and belief into achievement. Even in small daily examples, alignment shows its power. The parent who wants to teach their child discipline cannot shout instructions while neglecting their own habits. The student who wants to excel cannot speak about hard work but procrastinate constantly. The professional who wants to be respected cannot claim integrity but cut corners. Life mirrors your actions. Your vision may be magnificent, but if your actions contradict it, the reflection will be distorted. When you align your actions with your vision, life becomes a mirror of your highest aspirations. Alignment invites opportunity. The moment your actions consistently reflect your vision, people, circumstances, and resources begin to appear in your favor. Doors open where they were invisible. Mentors find you, ideas flow, and possibilities multiply. The universe does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to consistent, intentional action that echoes a clear vision. The young chef who practiced daily, studied recipes, and sought mentorship eventually found investors and opened a restaurant that became a community landmark because his actions resonated with his vision. So I want you to examine your life right now. Every choice, every habit, every action must reflect the vision you hold in your heart. If you dream of health, wealth, love, or impact, align what you do with what you desire. Let your mornings, your work, your relationships, your habits speak the language of your dreams. Stop wandering in contradiction and start walking a path where every step brings your vision closer. Alignment transforms dreams into reality, actions into miracles, and ordinary people into extraordinary forces. Because when your actions match your vision, the universe has no choice but to respond. I want you to imagine a young woman who wakes up each morning and immediately checks the news. She scrolls through stories of violence, disasters, and uncertainty, and before she even leaves her bed, fear has taken residence in her mind. She walks through her day anxious, doubtful, and hesitant to take action toward her dreams. This is what happens when your focus is on fear rather than joy. Fear is a powerful magnet that attracts more fear, while joy is a magnet for possibility, opportunity, and fulfillment. The law of attraction does not distinguish between what you want and what you are afraid of. It simply responds to the energy you emit. If your energy is filled with fear, doubt, and worry, your life will mirror that energy. Positivity begins with awareness. You must notice the thoughts that occupy your mind daily. What are you feeding your consciousness? If you constantly replay mistakes, rehash worries, or imagine worst case scenarios, you are cultivating fear and scarcity. I once met a man who wanted to start a business, but every idea he had was immediately followed by, what if it fails? What if I lose money? He spent months thinking about failure, and each month passed without action. When he shifted his focus to possibility and joy, asking himself, what if this succeeds beyond my imagination? What if I can impact hundreds of lives? Suddenly, he saw opportunities that had been invisible, and doors began to open. Daily life offers countless examples of how fear and joy shape our reality. Consider the student preparing for exams. If he focuses on fear, thinking, I might fail, I might disappoint my parents, I might be embarrassed, his anxiety will block his ability to concentrate, retain information, and perform at his best. But if he focuses on joy, thinking, I have prepared well, I am capable, I am excited to show what I have learned, his mind becomes sharp, his confidence grows, and the results improve. The difference is not talent, it is the energy of focus, the mindset of joy over fear. Positivity is a choice. It does not mean ignoring reality or pretending problems do not exist. It means choosing to respond to reality with hope, confidence, and creative solutions. I once spoke to a woman facing immense financial pressure. She could have focused on fear, complaining about bills, worrying about eviction, and blaming circumstances. Instead, she focused on what she could do, how she could earn, save, and create value. She smiled, planned, and acted with joy, and opportunities that had been hidden suddenly appeared. Her focus on positivity attracted the help, ideas, and resources she needed. Sometimes, positivity requires courage. It requires looking at challenges and saying, I will focus on the opportunity, not the obstacle. Consider the young man who dreams of becoming a musician. Every rejection, every harsh critique, every closed door could easily create fear and self-doubt. Many would stop. But he chose joy. He focused on the thrill of creating music, the love of performance, and the vision of touching people's hearts. That focus not only kept him going, but it also attracted mentors, audiences, and opportunities that fear could never have. Open positivity also transforms how others respond to you. Fear is contagious, but so is joy. Have you noticed how some people bring light into a room simply by their attitude? They smile, they encourage, they see possibilities rather than problems. Their presence attracts people, support, and opportunity. The person who focuses on fear, however, repels help, isolates themselves, and closes doors. The universe favors energy that is aligned with joy and possibility. Your emotions, your thoughts, and your focus are like a radio signal. What you broadcast is what you receive. Consider the young entrepreneur who wanted to launch a social enterprise. The challenges were enormous: funding, logistics, competition. He could have focused on fear, thinking about failure, criticism, and scarcity. Instead, he focused on joy, imagining the impact he could have on children, families, and the community. He visualized happy faces, successful projects, and lives transformed. Each morning, he reminded himself of this vision and allowed joy to guide his actions. Within months, investors, volunteers, and partners appeared, drawn to his positive energy. Positivity in daily life is built through small, consistent practices. It is choosing gratitude over complaint, solution over problem, hope over worry. It is the parent who celebrates small milestones with their child, the student who smiles at progress rather than fearing failure, the employee who focuses on contributions rather than office politics. These small shifts create a ripple effect. The energy of joy multiplies, and suddenly your life is filled with more reason to feel joy. Creating a self-reinforcing cycle of attraction. Dialogue with yourself matters. The conversations you have internally shape your perception and your reality. If you constantly say, I cannot, it is impossible, I am afraid, your mind listens and your life follows suit. If you say, I can, I am capable, I am excited for what is possible, your mind organizes itself around solutions. Your creativity flows and your actions align with opportunity. I have seen people transform their careers, relationships, and health simply by changing the focus of their thoughts from fear to joy, from limitation to possibility. Positivity also creates resilience. Life will throw challenges, setbacks, and disappointments. The person focused on fear collapses under pressure, gives up, and retreats. The person focused on joy sees setbacks as lessons, obstacles as guidance, and challenges as opportunities to grow. One young woman I know faced repeated failures in launching her startup. Each failure could have crushed her, but she maintained a joyful focus, imagining the lives she could impact once she succeeded. That joy became her strength, and ultimately, she created a thriving business that exceeded her wildest dreams. So I want you to notice your focus in every moment. Are you thinking about what could go wrong, what might fail, what you fear losing? Or are you thinking about the possibilities, the growth, the joy, and the fulfillment that awaits you? When you focus on joy, the universe responds. Your actions become confident, your decisions become bold, and the energy you emit attracts experiences, people, and outcomes that reflect the life you truly desire. Positivity is not a superficial habit. It is the essence of manifestation, the fuel of dreams, and the magnet that draws the extraordinary into the ordinary. I want you to picture a young man who dreams of becoming a professional athlete. He has talent, passion, and a vision of winning championships, hearing the crowd cheer, and seeing his name in lights. Yet, the road to that dream is not instant. It is long, filled with early mornings, grueling workouts, injuries, doubts, and moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. This is where persistence comes in. Persistence is not just about working hard. It is about showing up every day, taking consistent action, and refusing to give up. even when results are invisible. Consider the story of a student preparing for a major exam. The first day, she studies for 5 hours and feels motivated. The second day, distractions come. She studies only 2 hours and the doubt begins to creep in. If she gives in to the doubt, she will fail. But if she persists, if she commits to consistent effort, hour by hour, day by day, her understanding grows, her confidence strengthens, and the results begin to compound. The law of attraction responds to action over time, not sporadic bursts of effort. Success is rarely instant, but it is inevitable for those who persist. I once met a young entrepreneur who had an idea for a small business. His first attempts failed. His friends laughed, his family doubted, and the market seemed impossible. One evening, discouraged and sitting alone, he whispered to himself, "Maybe this isn't for me." Then he remembered the principle of persistence. He decided to keep showing up, learning, adjusting his approach, and improving every day. Months later, the business began to grow, customers returned, and what was once considered impossible became reality. Consistent action over time transformed failure into success. Persistence is often invisible. The hours you spend learning a skill, practicing, researching, or building your vision may seem unrecognized by others, but they matter immensely. I think of a young musician who practiced for 3 hours every day, long before anyone knew his name. Neighbors complained about the noise, friends joked that it was pointless, but he persisted. Years later, when he performed on stage in front of thousands, those quiet hours of practice became the foundation of his mastery. The universe rewards consistency, not occasional brilliance. Daily life examples show that persistence is not always glamorous. The mother who wakes up at 5 every morning to prepare breakfast, help her children with studies, and go to work is persisting quietly, shaping the future of her family. The student who solves one math problem after another, day after day, is persisting toward mastery. The employee who stays late to learn new skills, improve performance, and contribute beyond expectations is persisting to create opportunity. Persistence is the bridge between dreams and reality. Dialogue with oneself reinforces persistence. You might hear the inner voice say, "I am tired, this is too hard, maybe tomorrow." But persistence answers, "I will keep going. I will take one more step. I will not quit." I remember a young woman training for a marathon. Halfway through her runs, her legs screamed, her lungs burned, and the rain poured down. She could have stopped, but she whispered to herself, "Every step is bringing me closer to the finish line." She persisted, and on race day, she crossed the finish line, not because she was the fastest, but because she refused to give up. Persistence also transforms failure into lessons. Every obstacle becomes a teacher. Every mistake becomes guidance. The young man who launched a startup and faced rejection from investors could have given up, thinking he was incapable. Instead, he analyzed what went wrong, learned from feedback, and tried again. He persisted. Months later, a new investor believed in his vision, and the business flourished. Consistent action over time turns setbacks into stepping stones and obstacles into opportunities. Consider the small victories that lead to large results. The student who reads 10 pages every day will eventually finish a book. The young chef who practices one recipe at a time will eventually master a menu. The writer who writes one paragraph daily will eventually finish a novel. These incremental actions seem minor, but over time they accumulate into achievements that astonish everyone, including yourself. Persistence magnifies effort, giving it weight and power beyond what is immediately visible. Sometimes persistence requires patience and faith. You may take action consistently for weeks, months, or even years without seeing the results you expect. It is tempting to quit, to compare yourself to others, to assume that your efforts are wasted. Yet, those who persist understand that the universe responds in its own timing. The young man studying for professional certification may fail the first attempt, the second attempt, and still feel discouraged. If he persists, studies harder, and applies what he has learned, he will eventually succeed. The outcome is not instant, but the action is reliable. And reliability over time cannot be ignored. Daily life teaches us that persistence builds character. The young woman who refuses to quit despite rejection develops resilience, patience, and inner strength. The student who studies relentlessly develops discipline and confidence. The entrepreneur who persists despite setbacks develops wisdom and problem-solving ability. These qualities cannot be bought or inherited. They are forged through consistent effort and refusal to surrender. Persistence molds the mind, shapes behavior, and strengthens the spirit. Persistence also inspires others. When people see someone refuse to give up, Despite odds, failures, and criticism, they are drawn to that energy. I remember a young man who ran a community project facing repeated setbacks in funding and participation. Every day he showed up, working, speaking, and encouraging others. Gradually, volunteers joined, donations arrived, and the project grew. His persistence inspired those around him to believe, to act, and to contribute. Consistent action over time has a magnetic effect because it demonstrates belief in the vision and trust in the process. So I want you to recognize that every dream, every goal, every vision requires more than desire. It requires showing up, taking action, and refusing to quit even when results are invisible. Persistence is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve, between those who wish and those who manifest. The young woman learning a new language, the man building his career, the student preparing for exams, the entrepreneur starting a business. All find success through relentless, consistent action that compounds over time. I want you to imagine a young man walking through the city streets, head down, mind occupied with worries, deadlines, and the noise of life. He is so focused on what he believes he lacks that he fails to notice the chance encounter on the corner, the flyer in the window, the conversation that could change his life. This is what happens when awareness is absent. Awareness is not just seeing the world, it is noticing the opportunities and synchronicities that the universe places directly in your path. It is the practice of being alert, conscious, and intentional so that life's hidden openings become visible and accessible. Consider the story of a young woman who dreamed of starting a small cafe. She walked past countless locations every day, never seeing the perfect spot because her mind was filled with doubt and business. One morning, she decided to slow down, to look around intentionally, to notice what others overlooked. She observed a small empty space on a quiet street, a place that seemed unremarkable, but had the exact layout and charm she envisioned. She realized this was not luck. It was synchronicity, a meeting point between her vision and the opportunity. She had trained herself to see awareness begins with mindfulness. It is the ability to pause, to observe, to pay attention to what is happening around you and within you. I once spoke to a young entrepreneur who had countless ideas, but constantly felt frustrated. He was too busy, too distracted, and too preoccupied with what had gone wrong to notice the solutions already available to him. I asked him, "Have you taken the time to really see what is in front of you?" He shook his head, and for the first time, he began to intentionally notice meetings, conversations, and signs that were guiding him toward his next step. He realized that opportunities often arrive quietly and require presence to recognize. Daily life offers countless examples of synchronicity. Consider the student who meets someone in class who shares the exact notes he missed, or the person who happens to sit next to someone on a bus who later becomes a business partner. These are not coincidences. They are the universe aligning external circumstances with internal readiness. When you are aware, you recognize these moments, act on them, and allow them to shape your path. When you are distracted or careless, these moments pass unnoticed, and life feels random rather than purposeful. Dialogue with yourself sharpens awareness. Ask questions like, "What is this situation teaching me?" Or, "Who is in my life right now that can support my dream?" I recall a young man who wanted to break into the tech industry. He attended conferences, networked casually, but nothing seemed to materialize. Then one day he decided to be intentional in his interactions, asking questions, listening deeply, and observing trends in the industry. He noticed patterns, opportunities, and connections he had ignored before. That awareness transformed chance encounters into strategic moves that propelled his career forward. Awareness also requires gratitude and reflection. When you are thankful for what you have, you begin to notice more. The young woman who writes in her journal each morning becomes aware of recurring patterns, helpful mentors, and small blessings that accumulate into opportunities. She begins to see that life is sending her signals, a conversation in a cafe, a post on social media, a random suggestion from a friend. These synchronicities guide her, and because she is aware, she acts. Opportunities once invisible now appear like signposts pointing the way to her goals. Consider the small examples in daily life. The driver who notices a shortcut that saves 10 minutes. The student who listens carefully in class and catches an important hint for an exam. The employee who recognizes a need in the company and proposes a solution before anyone else. Awareness turns ordinary moments into extraordinary advantage because the mind that is tuned to see patterns, to notice details, and to connect the dots becomes a magnet for progress and growth. Sometimes awareness requires slowing down and quieting the mind. The young man rushing through life misses the subtle signs. The conversation on the train, the flyer in the library, the article online that contains the exact insight he needed. Synchronicity often comes as subtle hints rather than loud announcements. Mindfulness exercises, reflection, and attentiveness create the space in your mind to recognize these moments. The moment you notice them, you can act, and your actions align with the current of opportunity flowing toward you. I once met a young woman who had been trying to start a nonprofit to help children with literacy. She had visited offices, sent emails, and attended meetings, yet nothing seemed to work. One afternoon, she was attending a completely unrelated seminar and struck up a conversation with a stranger. That stranger happened to be a philanthropist who had been looking for exactly this type of project. She recognized the opportunity because she was aware, present, and open. What seemed like coincidence was actually a synchronicity waiting for her attention. Awareness also enhances decision making. The young man seeking investment for a startup may see multiple paths, but only through awareness does he recognize which options truly align with his goals. He notices the investors who share his values, the mentors who understand his vision, and the trends in the market that create openings. Awareness acts as a filter, separating what is meaningful from what is distracting, allowing you to focus your energy where it matters most. Being aware of opportunities also requires courage to act. Noticing a chance is only valuable if you step forward. The student who observes a scholarship opening, the young professional who recognizes a mentor's guidance, the entrepreneur who sees a gap in the market. These moments become reality only when met with action. Awareness prepares you, but action activates the synchronicity, allowing you to co-create with the universe and move toward your vision with confidence. So I want you to practice noticing, observing, and being fully present in each moment. Look for patterns, conversations, and possibilities that others miss. Pay attention to what life is whispering, the opportunities that appear in ordinary moments, the coincidences that are anything but random. When your mind is aware, alert, and open, synchronicity becomes a tool. Life becomes purposeful, and you begin to recognize that the universe is always sending signs to those ready to see, ready to act, and ready to embrace the flow of opportunity. I want you to picture a young woman sitting at her kitchen table, staring at bills scattered across the counter, worried about rent, groceries, and all the expenses piling up. Her mind races with fear, scarcity, and frustration. She dreams of financial freedom, a better career, and a life of abundance, yet her focus is on what she lacks. This is what happens when gratitude is absent. The law of attraction responds not to complaints or longing, but to appreciation. When you notice and value what you already have, you send a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more. Consider the story of a man I once knew who worked long hours at a job he did not enjoy. He complained constantly about his boss, his schedule, and the traffic. One day he sat quietly and listed 3 things he was thankful for: his health, a supportive sibling, and a roof over his head. The shift was subtle but powerful. He began noticing small opportunities, colleagues willing to help, and ideas that had never occurred to him before. His energy changed, and doors that had seemed closed slowly began to open. Gratitude transformed his perception, which changed his reality. Daily life offers countless examples of how gratitude multiplies blessings. The student who appreciates a teacher's guidance, a mentor's advice, or even a quiet place to study will naturally attract more knowledge, resources, and support. The parent who values the small moments with their children, the first steps, the laughter, the shared meals, creates an atmosphere of abundance and love. Gratitude is not about ignoring challenges, but about seeing and celebrating the positive aspects that already exist, which amplifies your capacity to attract more. Dialogue with yourself reinforces gratitude. When the mind says, "I don't have enough," respond with, "I am thankful for what I do have, and I am open to receiving more." I remember a young entrepreneur who struggled to find investors for his startup. He began each morning listing the small wins from the previous day, the new connection he made, the small progress in his product, the feedback he received. This simple practice shifted his energy from frustration to appreciation, and soon he attracted mentors, partners, and opportunities that had been invisible before because his focus had been elsewhere. Gratitude also transforms perspective. Imagine the young woman who is stuck in traffic, frustrated and impatient. She could focus on the delay, the annoyance, and the lost time, or she could shift her focus. I am grateful for a car that moves me, for a safe journey, for a destination I am able to reach. Suddenly, the experience is no longer a source of stress, but a reminder of mobility, safety, and opportunity. The mind that practices gratitude sees potential, abundance, and blessings even in ordinary circumstances, and this perspective attracts more of the same. Sometimes gratitude requires reflection on the past. The young man who looks back on struggles, failures, and disappointments can choose to be bitter or to be thankful for the lessons learned, the resilience gained, and the wisdom earned. One woman I met had lost multiple jobs in a short period. Instead of complaining, she reflected on the skills she had acquired, the network she had built, and the clarity she gained about what she truly wanted. Her gratitude for these aspects of her journey allowed her to see opportunities that others overlooked, leading her to a career that fulfilled her in ways she had never imagined. Small daily actions amplify gratitude. The student who writes down 3 things she is grateful for each morning, the professional who thanks a colleague for help, the young man who appreciates the beauty of nature on his walk. These small practices train the mind to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Over time, gratitude becomes a habit, and the law of attraction responds by increasing the flow of opportunities, relationships, and resources in alignment with that energy. Gratitude also strengthens resilience. The young woman facing health challenges, who appreciates every step of progress, every supportive friend, and every moment of clarity, creates a foundation of strength. Her focus on what is working rather than what is broken empowers her to keep taking action, to persist, and to see solutions. Gratitude does not eliminate challenges, but it changes how we engage with them, creating a mindset that attracts positive outcomes and aligns the mind with possibility. Consider dialogue with others as a form of gratitude. The young man who expresses appreciation for his team, mentors, and family members creates relationships that are supportive, collaborative, and abundant. People naturally respond to those who value them. One entrepreneur I know made it a habit to acknowledge every contribution, no matter how small, and soon he built a network of people eager to support his vision. Gratitude amplifies human connection, which in turn amplifies opportunity and success. Daily life offers reminders of abundance in the simplest things: the breath in your lungs, the roof over your head, a kind word, a warm meal. Noticing these moments, speaking of them, and feeling their value sets a tone of expectation and reception. The mind trained in gratitude is magnetized toward experiences that align with positivity and abundance. The young artist who appreciates every completed sketch, every small sale, and every encouraging comment naturally attracts more inspiration, patrons, and opportunities because her energy resonates with what she values. Sometimes gratitude requires courage, especially in moments of struggle. The single parent juggling multiple jobs, the student facing repeated rejections, the professional recovering from a setback. Choosing to be grateful amid difficulty is a conscious decision that shifts energy. It says to the universe, I see the value in what is present, and I am open to what is coming. This energy is powerful because it aligns desire with appreciation, which activates the law of attraction in profound ways. So I want you to start noticing, listing, and appreciating what you have every single day. Celebrate the small victories, acknowledge the support around you, recognize the skills and talents within you, and give thanks for the ordinary moments that make life extraordinary. When your focus shifts from lack to gratitude, from scarcity to appreciation, the universe responds. Doors open, relationships deepen, ideas flow, and opportunities multiply. Gratitude is not a passive feeling. It is an active force that transforms mindset, energy, and reality, because when you truly value what you have, the universe is compelled to give you more. I want you to picture a young man who has been working tirelessly to start his own business. Every day he pours his energy into planning, networking, and creating, yet months pass and nothing seems to happen. Frustration begins to creep in, and he mutters under his breath, why is nothing working? Why am I not succeeding like everyone else? This is the moment where patience is most necessary. Patience is not idle waiting. It is active trust in the timing of the universe, the understanding that your actions are planting seeds that will bloom at the right moment. Consider the story of a young woman who dreamed of becoming a published author. She sent her manuscript to dozens of publishers, attended workshops, and rewrote her book multiple times. Rejections came, each one a blow to her confidence. One evening, she sat alone, staring at the ceiling, and whispered, maybe I'm too late, maybe this will never happen. Then she remembered that patience is not about delay. It is about preparation. She kept writing, improving and submitting, trusting that the right opportunity would appear when she was truly ready. Months later, a publisher who had been waiting for exactly her type of story finally accepted her manuscript. And her book became a bestseller because she had been ready. When the timing aligned, daily life gives countless examples of the power of patience. The student who studies diligently for years to pass a professional exam may feel discouraged when results are not immediate. The young athlete training for a championship faces daily discipline, injuries, and slow progress. The employee working toward a promotion may feel overlooked and undervalued. In each case, those who trust the timing of the universe understand that the visible results are only the final layer of a process that has been quietly building beneath the surface. Patience allows the internal work to mature until it manifests externally. Dialogue with oneself strengthens patience. The mind may urge you to quit, to change course, to demand instant results. But patience whispers, trust the process, continue to act, continue to prepare, and wait for the perfect alignment. I remember a young entrepreneur who had been trying to secure funding for his startup. He had faced rejection after rejection, and the voice of doubt was loud. One night he sat quietly and said to himself, I will not abandon my vision. I will keep refining, learning, and building. The timing will come. Months later, he received an investor offer that matched not just his needs, but his vision perfectly, proving that patience combined with action creates the conditions for opportunity. Patience also requires surrender, not resignation. It is the balance between effort and trust, doing everything within your control and releasing the rest to timing beyond you. Consider the young artist practicing her craft daily. She cannot force recognition, yet she keeps creating, improving, and showing her work to the world. The right gallery, the right audience, and the right opportunity arrived not because she demanded them, but because her consistent preparation aligned with the timing of life. Patience transforms anxiety over results into confidence in process. Knowing that the seeds you plant will grow when the season is right, daily life demonstrates that impatience often leads to missed opportunities. The driver who cuts corners in traffic risks accidents. The investor who chases instant profit loses potential gains. The student who crams for an exam the night before misses deep understanding. Patience, on the other hand, allows for maturity, depth, and alignment. It teaches that the universe does not operate on human schedules, but on the rhythm of readiness. When you synchronize your actions with this rhythm, results come with greater impact, permanence, and resonance. Sometimes patience requires faith in unseen progress. The young woman learning a new skill may feel like she is making no headway. The beginner musician may play scales repeatedly without producing a melody. The entrepreneur may continue refining a product without immediate sales. Yet, patience assures that each repetition, each effort, each refinement is contributing to mastery. The results are invisible at first, but like roots growing beneath the soil, they are preparing the foundation for an extraordinary harvest. Consider the parent teaching a child. Progress is often slow and incremental. The child may stumble, resist, or seem to forget lessons, yet the patient parent continues guiding, demonstrating, and encouraging. In time, the child develops skills, confidence, and character. Life works the same way. The universe orchestrates growth in ways that may not be immediately visible. And trusting this timing allows you to stay committed to your vision without becoming discouraged by temporary delays. Dialogue with mentors and guides can also illustrate patience. The young professional eager for advancement may seek advice from someone experienced. A mentor may remind them, the promotion will come, the opportunity will appear, but you must continue to learn, prepare, and refine your skills. The timing is part of the journey. Hearing this reinforces that patience is not passive. It is an active, engaged waiting, trusting that consistent effort meets perfect timing for maximum impact. Daily life shows that patience is intertwined with perspective. The student who waits a year to see the results of a research project gains insight, depth, and understanding that rushed work could never provide. The gardener who waits through the season for crops to mature enjoys abundance and quality that instant planting cannot yield. The young man learning a profession patiently develops mastery, resilience, and reputation, which ensures that when opportunity arrives, he is ready not just to receive it, but to excel within it. Patience also allows for synchronicity. The young woman seeking a partner, the entrepreneur seeking investment, the artist seeking recognition. When they act patiently, opportunities appear in alignment with readiness. Chance meetings, perfect timing, and unexpected guidance emerge because the universe synchronizes external conditions with internal preparedness. Impatience disrupts this flow, forcing premature outcomes, misaligned results, and missed blessings. Patience ensures that your actions meet life's timing perfectly, so I want you to remember that every dream, every goal, every vision requires not just effort, action, and persistence, but also trust in the unfolding of life. Impatience brings anxiety, mistakes, and missed opportunities. Patience, combined with deliberate action, creates alignment, amplifies results, and ensures that when your harvest comes, it is abundant, meaningful, and lasting, because trusting the timing of the universe allows you to act, grow, and prepare while life orchestrates the perfect moment. As we come to the close of this journey together, I want you to take a deep breath and look at your life with new eyes. Imagine for a moment that every thought you have, every action you take, every emotion you feel is a magnet sending signals to the universe. What you focus on, what you nurture, what you feed grows in your life. The law of attraction is not a secret. It is a truth that has existed since the beginning of time. It responds not to wishful thinking alone, but to clarity of vision, consistent action, aligned energy, and the faith that your efforts are meaningful. I want you to ask yourself, are your thoughts leading you to abundance or scarcity, to joy or fear, to greatness or mediocrity? This is the pivotal moment to recognize the power within you, the force that shapes your destiny, the responsibility to choose wisely. Think about the people who have changed the course of history. They were not the strongest, the smartest, or the most fortunate at the beginning. What set them apart was their ability to focus on their vision, to believe in themselves when no one else did, to persist when failure whispered in their ear, and to act consistently, even when the results were invisible. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before he created the light bulb. He did not see failure, he saw lessons, and he persisted. He aligned his actions with his vision. He remained patient. He focused on possibility rather than fear. This is the same power that resides in you, waiting for you to awaken it, to harness it, to channel it into the life you have always imagined. I want you to reflect on the moments in your own life when you doubted yourself, when the world seemed heavy, when you wondered if your dreams were too big. Perhaps it was a career goal, a personal relationship, a financial aspiration, or a creative project. Now imagine if you had chosen to see the lessons, to take action, to focus on joy rather than fear, to persist relentlessly, and to remain aware of the opportunities around you. The universe would have responded, doors would have opened, ideas would have flowed, connections would have emerged, and your life would have shifted. The only difference between where you are now and where you can be is the conscious choice to apply these principles, the willingness to step into alignment with your highest vision. Let me tell you a story about a young woman who wanted to change her community. She began with nothing but a dream and a determination to act. She faced criticism, rejection, and countless obstacles. Yet she remained focused, persistent, and grateful for every small step forward. She noticed opportunities others overlooked, stayed patient with the timing of her growth, and trusted that her efforts mattered. Over time, her initiative blossomed, touching lives in ways she could not have imagined at the start. This is the law of attraction in action. It does not favor those who wish passively. It responds to those who engage actively, consistently, and with clarity of purpose. I want you to think about the conversations you have with yourself each day. Are they filled with limitation, doubt, and fear, or are they infused with possibility, gratitude, and faith? The mind is the master creator. It sets the blueprint, and your actions construct the reality. The young man preparing for a major exam must tell himself, I am capable, I am focused, I am ready, rather than repeating, I might fail, I am not enough. The student who consistently affirms his capability, who studies diligently, and who focuses on success rather than failure begins to magnetize outcomes that match his belief. The universe listens not to what you say to others, but to what you reinforce in your own mind. Daily look around you at the people, circumstances, and resources in your life. Notice the synchronicities, the small hints, the doors that open unexpectedly. These are not accidents, they are signals from the universe showing you that when your focus, action, and energy align with your vision, the world conspires to support you. The young entrepreneur who observed a chance conversation, the artist who recognized a critique as guidance, the parent who saw a challenge as an opportunity to teach. All of these are examples of awareness unlocking potential. Gratitude amplifies this awareness. making you conscious of abundance even in ordinary moments, and attracting more of the same. Remember, patience is the silent partner in all your endeavors. The universe does not operate on human schedules. Your dreams may require time, your efforts may need seasons to mature, and your results may not appear instantly. The young athlete training for years, the writer perfecting her manuscript, the inventor refining prototypes, all demonstrate that persistence combined with patience leads to extraordinary outcomes. Trust that every step you take, every effort you make, and every lesson you learn is preparing you for the manifestation of your vision. I want you to embrace positivity in every action, thought, and interaction. Joy is magnetic. It attracts opportunity, support, and success. Fear repels. The person who complains, doubts, or obsesses over scarcity is building resistance against the life they desire. The person who focuses on gratitude, opportunity, and purpose is aligning energy with abundance. You can choose today to see life not as a series of obstacles, but as a series of openings, ready for you to walk through with confidence and clarity. Every thought, every action, every emotion is a brushstroke painting the masterpiece of your destiny. Think of alignment as the bridge between vision and reality. Your dreams are powerful, but without aligned action, they remain invisible. The young chef who practices daily, the student who studies consistently, the professional who works diligently, these are the people who activate their visions because their actions echo their intentions. When your thoughts, actions, and energy are harmonized, the universe responds, opportunities appear, and your life shifts from possibility into reality. Alignment is the silent force behind every success, every breakthrough, every miracle. So I want you to take responsibility for your life, your thoughts, your energy, and your actions. The law of attraction does not operate in your favor or against you. It simply mirrors the energy you emit. The young woman who practices gratitude, awareness, patience, and persistence finds doors open she never imagined. The young man who aligns actions with vision, chooses joy over fear, and trusts the timing of the universe creates momentum toward his dreams. Your power is not somewhere outside of you. It is within you, waiting for you to awaken it, to focus it, to apply it. Believe in your ability to manifest, to create, and to receive. The universe is abundant, and it responds to clarity, consistency, and faith. Thomas Jefferson once said, "I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have." This is truth. Hard work aligned with vision, combined with gratitude, awareness, persistence, positivity, patience, and trust is the formula for attracting the life you desire. No external circumstance can stop you when your internal world is disciplined, aligned, and focused. The universe is your partner, and you are the conductor of your own destiny. So rise today with the conviction that you are capable of achieving what you imagine. Speak to yourself with faith, act with consistency, notice the doors that open, trust the timing, express gratitude, and align your energy with your dreams. Understand that the universe is responding not to your fears, not to your doubts, but to your vision, your action, and your energy. Choose today to activate these principles in your life and watch as the ordinary becomes extraordinary, as opportunity multiplies, and as the life you have always desired unfolds before you with clarity, power, and magnificence.